We are looking at ways to minimize the undue burden that you mentioned. Safety-wise, we've heard a lot about multiple kids at different schools. One of the more prominent potential solutions is a fee-based system, a system that would be provided by an external provider independent of the school system. It would be a fee-based arrangement. And just kind of on the surface, one of the potential benefits of that as well versus the current system would be availability potentially without regard to, or regardless of the proximity of the school. Currently, we do not offer transportation if you reside within 2 miles of the school. That would be a potential way to hopefully decrease the overall user charge that the parent would pay. The ones that we talk to are very experienced in public school transportation. It would be a yellow school bus. It would be state inspected. It's not Durham. It's one that is involved in providing contract transportation in this state. The references that I've gotten have been very positive. So I believe it would be a safe.
Are they the ones in Huntsville? Because if it's
not in
on
Huntsville.
that one.
Is it Tuscaloosa? Is it Tuscaloosa?
No.
Okay, the second part of my question
Then can you tell us which one you're basing it on?
Not at this point. We're still in discussion.
Okay, because the thing is, even if you sign a 3-year contract with them, they're going to come in and then they're
It would be independent. The scenario I mentioned would be independent of the school district. They would contract directly with parents to provide transportation. Similar to the way folks take advantage of daycare services that provide transportation.
What we're really looking for in these meetings is the parents want to know, are the buses going to be running next year? That's what the parents want to know. The kids want to know, are they going to have bus transportation next year? And the bus driver wants to know, are we going to have a job next year? Your final answer, are the buses going to run this year and next year? Your final answer.
As we said, you're all familiar with the action that's been taken. It's a cost-cutting action. It's to help solve some of these problems or contribute to solving some of these problems we've talked about. We're looking at options that would provide access to transportation services to parents. The most prominent one I talked a little bit about earlier. We've also looked at essentially an internally operated program with a fee. There's a lot of inherent legal uncertainties with that type of arrangement. We don't have all those bases covered yet, but it appears to be advantageous that the external fee-based would do more to help us down the road. I answered it the best way that I could.
Employees, we are fingerprinted, criminal background checks, everything else. When you outsource to companies from Tennessee or people who are going to be contracting individually with parents to drive the kids, what kind of background checks are done to keep the kids safe? Secondly, not everybody can afford to pay extra. So what about the low-income families? What happens to them and their kids? Are they just driven out of Hoover so they have to go somewhere else where they can get bus service?
With that arrangement, what was the first question? The background check?
Background checks, fingerprinting, all of the checks that we have to go through as Hoover City School employees. How does that apply to people who outsource?
When we worked with the outsourcing of some of our cleaning services, the company that we had a pretty extensive background check, HR mechanism of their own. What we basically did is we put our state, the processes you described, we put those on top of theirs. So they essentially have to go through those same process. The legal threshold, I think, is whether they have unsupervised access to kids. You could probably argue that they don't, but external, we're going to work with them if that's the way this goes, every way we can to reduce the fees to the extent the law allows. One of the ways that we're doing that now within the services we provide now is we double a lot of routes, and essentially, the more you get your ridership up, spread it over a fixed amount of cost, and that ridership number would go down. There's some other couple ideas we tossed around, but it'd be premature to mention those because I would be speaking for other people at this time. But there's some other things that could potentially be added to that equation to help the lower income kids.
Do you really think that the school bus issue is insignificant enough to not solve before you vote on next year's budget?
There's nothing that deals with schools, with the changing school bus that's included in this year's budget.
Perhaps if you planned ahead, you could do something to put off the problem that you're going to have in the following year. To me, it seems ridiculous to have such a big problem with the budget and be trying to push through a budget tonight that doesn't take that into account.
Thank you.
Given that the school bus solutions that were prominently being looked at, what provision is being made for scholarships for the buses for those students who were on free or partial lunch situation? Okay, those are the ones who will have a hard time being able to afford them.
Thank you, Mr. Singer. We've got two more questions.
We have viable options out here to make up that deficit, like the 1% sales tax and other possible revenue sources. Like you said, the increase